Stop doing this.
Hello,
and
everyone.
Happy Friday. We are in a different environment. If you don't know, we're trying to get it together. We need to get centered too, and I need to take this down because that don't look good either. We're in the kids' room.
Yes.
In my new apartment because we moved, and we're still getting adjusted to everything. Are we?
We live.
I feel like we need to
Center.
Maybe you need to move this way.
Okay.
Because I feel like we're not right.
All right. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Happy Friday, everybody. We are
Mamas Beyond the Matrix.
And we're here on another Friday. Excited about the topic we have today as we get situated. Our topic today, I'm going to hand it over to Kelly.
Yes, our topic today is about neighborhoods. And we need to turn on another light. Can you hit that light for me, please? You know we live, so we just got to go with the flow here. And we trying to get it together in this new environment until we can, is that light better? Can you shine it on me? On you at least?
Yeah,
or you might have to turn it towards you. Okay.
You want this one too? Or no?
I don't think we need that light.
Okay.
I think we okay. Yeah, I think we good. Hopefully you guys can see us all right. I think from the camera we look pretty decent. Right. So this is our microphone if you're wondering what that is. So hi, happy another Friday. Our topic today is going to be about neighborhoods here in Medellín, Colombia.
And for those of you who don't know, I'm going to interject real quick. I am Jay, one half of Mamas Beyond the Matrix, and this is my lovely
Kelly. I'm Kelly. Hello. Once again, if you are new to watching us, we are families that have relocated from the United States here to Medellín, Colombia. First, Jay was in Mexico.
Yes, for 3 years.
Yes.
And decided to relocate to Colombia.
Yes. But we have a lot of families that have relocated here, families that are interested in continuing to relocate here. And so we thought we would just start coming on and doing some lives and giving you guys some information about the city, about moving to the city as a family, the details you may want to know, because, you know, it's a lot. Whenever you move out of the country, you're going to have to start from scratch. Everything is new. So it's like we're trying to make it easier for you, as easy as possible, to give you as much information so that you can make an informed decision to see if this would be a good fit for you. Now, even though we're giving you this information, we still advise that you come check it out for yourselves, come visit, scout it out for an extended period of time. I would say at least 1 month. Mm-hmm. Stay in an Airbnb in maybe a few neighborhoods. Maybe pick 2 top neighborhoods and pick 2 Airbnbs and split the time between those, however you want to do it. But I would definitely advise you to come check out the city, see if it's a good fit for you and your family. And before you make that decision of moving here or anywhere you're thinking about going to, I would advise the same thing.
Yes. So come date the city. Even if it's not Medellín, if you're looking to move abroad, I would say date that city. Date it as if you're checking it out and seeing if it's a fit for you. It's a 2-way street. And a lot of times, you know, within the first month in a real dating relationship, whether or not it's going to work.
Yeah.
It's the same way when you're visiting certain cities. If you get a good vibe and it's like, you know what, I want to stay here a little longer. I want to stay. That's usually a good sign. But yes, just date the cities. And today we're going to we have the pleasure of talking about 5 different areas here in Medellín that are very popular for families, some a little more popular than others. So we're just going to get right on into it.
Okay.
And so today, our first portion of Medellín that we want to talk about is the Poblado area. And in the Poblado area, a lot of people know Poblado because it is a very popular area in Medellín. It is very touristy. So a lot of people who travel to Medellín, hotels, Airbnbs, the whole nine, it's in the heart of the city. The Poblado area. And part of Poblado, you have an area called Provenza. Mm-hmm. And Provenza is high population of tourists. It's where you have a lot of restaurants. You have a lot of what's happening and going on in the city. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on in the city over there. good and
And
bad.
right.
Okay?
This is where your clubs are, your bars are. Like, this is a whole strip, and at night it is packed full of people partying and having a good time. And this is definitely an area where you can find some issues with people being drugged, and you can find the prostitutes, you can find anything you want in the Provenza area.
Yes. There's the crime area there is a little heightened because there are people who prey on tourists. So you just have to be mindful of that. But Poblado is still a beautiful area. There are areas in quiet outskirts of Poblado that people find themselves moving to. But Poblado is a really beautiful part of the city, especially if you're single and you're wanting to get the most bang for your buck with being here in the Medellín area. You can do a lot. You can experience a lot based and hub out of the Poblado area.
Yes. So Poblado is one of the higher income areas. So it's a stratum 5 or 6.
I think it's strato 5. I believe.
Okay, and I think that's the highest one, correct?
I think 6.
6 is the highest. Okay, but so Poblado is very hilly. Very hilly. You get beautiful views, you get beautiful apartments. It's a beautiful area. However, if you are a person or family who is interested in being able to walk places locally and get what you need, Poblado is not going to be that place. You can walk, however, it's going to be some major hills, not slight. We're talking about some elevated, inclined hills. So that is not always the best fit for families. However, there are plenty of families that do live in Poblado.
Yes, we were actually walking in Poblado story time. We were actually walking, doing a ciclovia, which is a walk every Sunday that families do, and it's a marked off area for families to walk, safe for families to walk. And we were there in Poblado a few weeks ago when there was an event that the walkers wanted to go to, and my husband says, "Oh, okay, well, it's just not that far, 15 minutes away or 15 minutes away. Walk, we're already walking, not a big deal." But the route to get to where this brunch party was an incline. And a lot of the people was huffing and puffing, and it's like, man, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. And he was like, well, I told you it was gonna be hills, and he can handle it. But for somebody who's not conditioned for that type of walk, I like to liken the hills here similar to a city like San Francisco, where there's a lot of hills, and you have to understand a lot of people who walk in a city like that are pretty fit and they can handle it. So if you may not have the healthiest or the fittest, or your knees not working the best, may not be an area for you to live if you are thinking you want to walk the majority of the time. If you're going to use public transportation, Uber, ride shares,
or even have your own car,
or a scooter, anything like that, you should be okay. But if you're going to be doing majority of the walking and you have some issues, it may not be the best place for you.
Yeah, and it's also going to be a challenge if you have smaller children who are trying to walk, or if you have a stroller or something like that. Like, that's not going to be ideal. However, again, I want to preference that there are families that do still live in that area. And there are some flat parts of Poblado.
There
are little sections you have to kind of find where it is pretty flat, and it's built up, and you have everything you need in that area. You have restaurants, coffee shops, little markets, and different things like that. But the majority is going to be hills. Anything else we want to say about Poblado? You're going to find your higher rents in that area.
Yes.
Probably the highest in the city, I believe, in that area. But it is very, very nice.
It's very nice. And because it is high tourist area, everything is walkable. It's just being prepared for those hills. But your stores, your grocery stores, your markets, your produce markets, everything is relatively close, and usually easy to get to now, unless you have a preference for a particular store you want to go to. Maybe you walk a little further, which means more inclined hills possibly. But everything is pretty much in that community, easy to find, easy to get around. A lot of pharmacies. And because it's high tourist, there's some things, it's a high tourist area. There are some things that you can potentially find as an expat living in Poblado that you want to get your hands on, that's a little harder to find, like some name brand items that's a little harder to find as you branch outside of Poblado.
All right, so next we are going to talk about Envigado. Envigado is also, it could be very hilly as well, from my understanding.
Yes.
I have not spent a lot of time in Envigado. I usually kind of go out there to go to certain events or the mall or certain places. But from my experience, there are some flat areas and then there are some hilly areas.
Very much
But
so.
there are a lot of families do choose to live in Envigado because of the lower cost point, the safety. There are a lot of schools in that area, private schools, as far as I'm concerned. A lot in that area. So it's very, very family oriented.
Bilingual schools as well.
Bilingual schools, yes. Very, very family oriented. A lot of parks, a lot of restaurants with playgrounds in them or different activities for the kids. So you can eat and your kids can still play and everybody's enjoying themselves. So it is definitely a great area.
It's a great area. Not only is it a great area, you can find a lot more modern places in Envigado, and the views are gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Poblado has some nice views too, but because there's a lot of high rises, sometimes you may or may not be able from your home you may or may not be able to see how beautiful the city is. But usually in Envigado, because of how it sits in the city, maybe it's a little higher than Poblado, the views are just amazing and it's gorgeous. And a lot of the buildings, the high rises that people choose to live in there are secured, where they have 24-hour security, they're gated, and so that's part of the safety that's built in with a place like Envigado. There's also a lot of expats that choose to live and congregate to the Envigado area. I seem to find that the families that move in Envigado either have a vehicle or they have older children. So when it comes to walking, it's not that big of an issue with pushing a stroller, or it's more like exercise for the family. So I've noticed that there are a lot of families that live there, but usually with a little older children.
Yeah. And I do also know that you can find a lot of larger type of properties at a good price point.
That's true.
A lot of larger families tend to live in Envigado. And to your point, there are entire communities where there will be apartments or houses, and they'll have little stores. Like, it's all within this gated community. You don't even have to leave this gated community. So they do have those type of communities set up in Envigado, which is very, very convenient for people who have families. When you live in the city or other parts of the city, it's not easy to just let your child go out and play because it may not be a secured gated community like where I live. I don't live in a gated community. I live in a regular just kind of like apartment. So you just, kind of walk up. So if I let the kids go out, I have to be very careful because it's just streets right there, right? There's nowhere for them just to go out and play in a secured environment. So that would be a difference.
To your point too, within the community, they have in these buildings, they're towers sometimes, so they're high-rise buildings, but the amenities are immaculate. So I'll give you an example of some of the amenities that you can find in a community in a home here in Envigado. You'll find pools. You can find pools. You can find pet. Oh, they love their pets, y'all.
Yes.
They love their pets. The pet parks, a gym, a sauna, tennis courts. What else? Maybe some basketball courts.
Football or
soccer. We know it as soccer, but it's called football here. Soccer fields, community center, and some of them even have ludiotecas, which are little play areas with ball pits and stuff for children, like a nursery type of playground for children, like toddler children, that have that included in those communities as well. So those are just some of the things that you can find in these communities where you don't really even have to leave. I don't know if I said gym also, but they have gyms too. But you don't even have to pretty much leave your property if you don't want to. Everything is almost all inclusive, included in your rent most of the time in these areas where you can find places to rent in Envigado.
Yep. So I think that's it. We covered Envigado. I think we talked about the environment. We know that there are plenty of things for children and families to do out there. We talked about the restaurant. So I think we're good with Envigado, right?
We're good with Envigado.
Okay. All right. So our next city is going to be Sabaneta. And we actually have a video for Sabaneta from someone or family who has lived there for a period of time. But you want to talk a little bit about it before we play the video?
Yeah, sure. So Sabaneta is a city which would be for us a little more suburban outside of the city than inner city. And it takes about 45 minutes to get to Sabaneta from the central area, 35 to 45 minutes, depending on traffic, depending on weather, to get to Sabaneta from the central part of Medellín. It's on the outskirts. There are schools there. It's very quiet. It also has a landscape that's hilly. But just so that you know, in relation to where it is in Medellín, it's about 35 to 45 minutes. And without further ado, I think we can just go ahead and get into our guest today and let her explain her experience as being a mom with 2 children and living in the Sabaneta area.
Okay, so let me go ahead and pull this up. And I want to make sure we have it on full screen so you guys can see really well. But I guess I better wait until I share it first before we go on full screen. So give me 1 second, you guys. Share my screen. And we want this one. Share. Okay. All right. Hold on, we're coming. There we go. Now, how do we play? We got to play it.
Hit the space bar, maybe.
There, look at that. Oh, but there's no sound. Hold on. Let's try. Let's try that.
Oh, there we go.
We got it on mute. See, technical. See, we making it happen here. We doing these lives. We making it happen. Here we go.
So the first question was asked. So for me and my family, we chose Sabaneta, which is very interesting because it's outside of where all the gringos or typically all the Americans or Canadians live. Sabaneta is honestly a new city from my understanding that that just recently became more touristy, and they're still actually building more modern spaces there as far as residential spaces, etc. There's a lot of local shops, restaurants, cafes, grocery stores. I mean, everything is extremely accessible and in walking distance. There is the Sabaneta Park. And also as a gym girly, I would also go to Smart Fit that is located at the Mallorca mall, which is very close, about a 5-minute drive. One thing that's important to me when traveling is having resources. So making sure that I have things local to me, like done or my nails done or eyeballs or whatever the case may be. And so they had a lot of that within that vicinity. A typical day in Sabaneta looks like us going to the local vending markets. They're constantly open. They sell trinkets and like metaphorical, spiritual stuff, fresh juices, things of that nature. They may be walking around the park, catching lunch at one of the restaurants, or grabbing a coffee at the cafe. Now, unfortunately, in regards to schooling, I ended up putting my daughter in a part-time school in, Laureles, which was a little bit far. So the distance is about 25 to 30 minutes. It can be a lot longer depending on the day and the traffic. But it was only part-time, so I didn't mind that, driving out there. I think the thing that my kids like most about that area, for one, there was a lot of children around that area for my daughter. My son, who is 13, unfortunately didn't have too many connections there, but definitely because the mall is closed and there's things to do. So if family and friends were to visit, and I'm gonna be honest with you, they probably wouldn't, but I definitely would take them to local restaurants, probably to walk around the Sabaneta Park, to just experience and get a feel for the culture. I think Sabaneta is probably one of the most culturally rich areas, and you can get a lot for your money in regards to residential spaces, etc. In regards to safety, me and my family always felt safe. Never was concerned about anything, to be honest with you. A lot of the locals have lived in that area for a very long time. So, all of the pharmacists or pharmacies and the herbal vendors and local markets that were close by, it was as if everyone knew each other. So, when we went to stay there and we were there for about 2 months, they got to know who we were. So it's definitely family oriented, very local. It's starting to get a little bit more touristy. So I hope it doesn't lose its spark. A real feel for what Colombian culture is. Definitely check out Saban.
All right. So I hope that gave you a good idea of what Sabaneta is like. When I go out to Sabaneta, I always feel like I am in a small town.
Yeah.
That's what I feel
Small
like.
town
It's a
vibes.
small town vibe. It is hilly as well.
Mhm.
If you want to look at or think about the proximity as well, we talked about Envigado, we talked about Poblado. So the way, if you kind of look at the map, you have Medellín, the central Medellín, then you have Poblado, then you have Envigado, and then you have Sabaneta. So it kind of goes out,
Mhm.
they kind of are borders of each other
Mhm.
from the city. So when we talk about it being 45 minutes away or something like that, that kind of gives you an idea of the distance. If you are a family or a person who likes to do a lot of different activities that are in the city, that may be a challenge. However, we have a train system. The public transportation system is very good. So it goes out to Sabaneta. You can easily hop on a train and come into the city.
Yes.
It's relatively quick, it's clean, it's safe. It's a great price point. So if you feel like you want to come into the city quite often and you don't mind taking a train and then maybe hopping off the train and Ubering around the city or doing whatever you want to do, that can definitely work for you. But Sabaneta, from what I've heard from other people as well, is that it is very beautiful. It is very peaceful. When I went out there, it is very quiet. Even when they had like stuff going on in Sabaneta Park, which they tend to have, I think every weekend there are vendors and different things out there. It's still a place where you can tell where people from the community just come there, hang out, spend time, do whatever they do. Then they go back to their peace in their homes and their apartments.
It's very communal. If you're looking for culture, like she said, a rich culture, it's a small town vibe with a lot of culture, a lot of character, and so it's a beautiful place. Beautiful place. We first came here and we were looking for a place. Sabaneta was one of the places that we looked, and we found this really beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. But y'all, I have little kids, and it was on the 25th floor. And somehow I just couldn't wrap my mind around being on the 25th floor of this building. But when the view overlooked the finca, so we saw the vacas, which are the cows, walking by and grazing in the pastures. I mean, it's almost like the best of both worlds. If you want to be in a, a metropolitan city, but also want to be far enough away where you kind of have your own vibe, Sabaneta is it. Sabaneta is it.
And I wouldn't mind moving out to Envigado or Sabaneta. However, it's always about the walkability for me. That is a big determining factor, because I do not want to have to get a car, and I pay enough for transportation as is, just with our normal activities around the city. So I'm paying a pretty penny for transportation. That's just ride share. So yeah, I want to find a sweet spot. That's what I would love to find. I would like to find a sweet spot in the city with the great view that's still walkable, but it also has that peace. Quiet. I don't know. I'm sure there's a place that exists like that around here. We may not have found it yet. But I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Different parts of Laureles, even where I'm living now, is not too bad as far as noise is concerned.
Well, speaking of sweet spot, I think the fourth city the fourth area in the city, I think is actually a hidden sweet spot that a lot of people don't really talk about. And that part of the city is called Belén.
Yes.
And Belén is beautiful. It's really nice. And it is closer to the central part of Medellín. It is closer to the flatter parts of the city as well, although there are some hilly places in Belén. But Belén is very walkable place, and it's easily accessible to malls and restaurants and things to do around the city. It's a gorgeous and quiet place, but still close to Poblado for the touristy people, close to Laureles. It like borders both parts of the city, between Envigado, Poblado, and Laureles. And I think it's a little closer to Laureles, but it's a beautiful place.
Now, Belén is a place we lived in when we first came, and we were scouting it out with the kids. And we loved the area. However, our apartment was actually at the top of a big hill. We had great views, amazing views. However, that again, we talk about the walkability thing, and I was like, I didn't know much about Belén either at that time. If I would have known more, I probably would have chosen an apartment in that area. Now I do know more. And we spend a lot of time at one of the major parks in Belén, one of the best parks that's in the city. Yeah. So
everything you need.
The kids love it there. And that is probably an area that I will look into next when I move next time. But yes, Belén is very, very convenient, sitting in between Laureles and Poblado. It didn't like we can just go either direction and we can get to either barrio, is what they call it here, neighborhood. So it's very, very convenient. It has malls, has everything you need. It's just like we talked about with the other locations. As far as safety is concerned, I never felt unsafe or anything in Belén. Of course, every city, every neighborhood has its parts. But it is a local community, very local. Some expats, not as many expats, I believe, live in Belén as they do in Poblado, Laureles, Envigado. But there are some there, definitely. And again, like there are going to be more because we're talking about it now. We're interested in that's definitely where we would like to be, or it's an option for us.
It's a beautiful place. Belén is beautiful. There's a mall there, just to give you a sense of location. Arcadia, however you want to pronounce it, is there. The park that we're referring to, this park is a Deportivo. So it has it's a sports center park. So you have a track, a race. I think it's 2 walking tracks there, if I'm not mistaken. Basketball court, soccer field.
Plenty of soccer fields.
An outdoor workout gym. Now, for us being in the United States, we're not usually that, depending on where you live, familiar with the outdoor gyms. The outdoor gyms here are all over, but here at this Deportivo Belén Park, it is top notch. All the equipment that you need. I had a friend who came and she was living here for about 3 months earlier this year, and she's a personal trainer. And she's like, "Man, I'm looking for a place. I want to do some personal training. Do you know of a place?" And the only place I could think of was this park. And it took her a while to get to the park. I think she heard outdoor park and was like, "What could it possibly have?" When she finally made it to this park, she was like, "Jay, I mean, any and everything I need is here. I can do a whole workout program and routine." And I was like, yeah, it's nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, they have swimming pools. They have a BMX area. So for the bikes and all of that, they had a whole international BMX. I don't know if it was a championship. I don't know exactly what it was, but they had that at this park. So that tells you how amazing it is and how much people love it. It's always packed. It has a great playground. Yes. We've talked about the playgrounds here and how it's not necessarily what we're used to from the States. This has a playground that we're used to from the States. Yes. probably a little bit bigger than we're
Mhm.
used to.
Mhm.
So yeah, anything that you can think of is at this park. So definitely a great area. It does have the train goes through Belén.
Yes.
Public transportation is good. So it's a great area if you're thinking about it. And the price point in Belén is still very reasonable.
True.
It's not going to be as expensive as the Poblados or probably Laureles. I think it's a little bit cheaper, right, than Laureles, or maybe
It might be what depending
about
on
the
what you're
same,
looking
depending
for.
on depending on where you are. So, anything else about Belén?
No, other than check it out if you get a chance. It's a beautiful place.
Yep. All right, our last place, final place is
Fifth place.
Fifth place is Laureles.
Or Laureles.
Laureles, yes. Very, very popular, just like Poblado. I think the most popular is going to be Poblado and Laureles. But that's just across the board, not just families.
For expats, especially
For
expats who move and decide to come to Medellin, you'll find in these two pockets a higher population of expats.
Yes. Everyone loves Laureles because it's flat. It's very flat. It's going to be more local again. You can definitely blend into the community depending on which part of Laureles you're in. You're going to find more expats in is that the downtown area, like where all of the restaurants and little bars?
Like Estadio or Nutrabar area?
Yeah, that area.
Yes. You talking about where cats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So there is an area, there's a very high population of tourists that congregate to this area called the Nutrabara area. And it's a lot of restaurants, high rises, apartments, but pretty much for the restaurants and the nighttime life there, it's really nice, great food. But that's the Nutrabara area, but that is also a part of Laureles.
Yes. We actually live out on the kind of borders, outskirts of Laureles, but still kind of in Laureles. Very borderish, though.
Yes.
So it is very much more community oriented, lower apartments or lower buildings. Some of the buildings may only go up to 4 or 5 floors versus those big, tall, high-rise towers and different things like that. Or you'll find more houses in our area that people live in. So very, very nice. And we like it because it's just convenient. Everything is in Laureles. You don't have to leave Laureles really if you don't want to.
Nope.
Everything. And Laureles is so big. Like I didn't even realize how large it was. And I'd go to different places and I'm like, dang, am I still in Laureles?
Yes. Yes.
It's big. It is big. So what are your favorite parts as far as for families? Like what are the benefits?
It's walkable. One, I have a stroller, double stroller. I'm pushing kids around. It's walkable. But also for those, we didn't really touch on this much, but for those who work from home or do remote working, there's a lot of co-working in Laureles.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, there's a lot of co-working all over the city. I don't know about Sabaneta, but Envigado, Poblado, Laureles, in Belén, there are a lot of co-working places. So if you work from home and just like you need a different environment and want to get out, the cafes here are really nice. They're really, really nice. You can get some reasonable food. Depending on where you are, if you're in the more touristy area, the cost of the food and the cost of the lunch and the cafes are going to be a little more. But if you're like in the areas that we are, which are more communal, more local with the locals, both Kelly and I live in areas of the city where it's not highly populated with expats. The areas in Laureles that are highly populated with more expats, the cost of just living and doing life at the grocery stores, at the cafes, it's just going to cost you a little more. So that's what I really enjoy about Laureles. I like the greenery here. I mean, the birds, the singing from the birds. I mean, it's a beautiful place to settle if you are looking to have a family here and just do life. So that's what I think I like most about Laureles.
Yes.
And accessibility. The accessibility to most things is really cool. We're not far from Poblado, Envigado. We're not walking distance either.
No, we're not.
We're closer to Belén, but just the nature and the accessibility to get out and get even to some of the locals, the neighboring cities, it doesn't take that much. And then the ride share in itself, I know Kelly, because you do a lot more transportation than I do. But I mean, typically just a one-way trip from here to Poblado may be between $2 and $5, like depending on like the time of the day, depending on the traffic. I wouldn't say more than $6, but a lot of the Uber rides that I get or the ride shares are between $2 and $3 just one way. So if you're thinking about being in a city that's a little quieter, but still accessibility, still community. If you are looking and interested to build community with other expats, Laureles could be it. And if you still want to be just a touch away from where the liveliness is in the city, it's a good area to be.
It is very diverse. Because you said quiet. Now, some parts are quiet, some parts are not. But just understand overall in Medellin, it's not going to be the quiet we're used to in the States. This is a lively city. So you're always going to hear something. Your windows are always going to be open. You're always going to hear something outside, whether it's an announcement from the grocery store, cars riding by, making an announcement. Somebody's selling fruits and vegetables. The vendors are coming through the streets. Sometimes you might hear somebody walking with a microphone and a speaker singing because they're trying to sing for money. So you're always going to hear some type of noise, either cars rolling down the street or whatever. You're going to hear something. It's not going to be that peace and quiet where it's just dead silence.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that in the city, period, right? But there are some spaces that are louder versus, quieter. If you are in the Estado area of Laureles, that's where the stadium is. It's going to be louder over there because they have concerts, they have sports events, they have a lot of things where people congregate in that area, including the ciclovias too, on Sundays.
Fireworks.
Yes. It's always, so it's going to be some noise if you're in that estadio area near the stadium. Understand, if you're okay with that, you like lively, you like being able to walk outside, because there's a street called, is it 70th? 70th, where it has a lot of bars and restaurants and a lot going on there, and it's going to be noise. It's going to be clubs, and when I say clubs, they're going to be playing loud music until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're going to be able to hear that in your house or in your apartment if you are near there. So just kind of keep those things in mind. You can find some quiet spots, but you can also find some very noisy spots.
True. But if you're from a place like New York City or DC, where you're used to road noise, that somebody who's from more of a rural area or a suburban area who you really don't hear much, you don't even know your neighbors are coming and going from home, it's going to be an adjustment for you, the city noise. But if you're used to living in a metropolitan city, a big city like Chicago, LA, DC, New York, this might be a little milder than what you're used to.
Oh, I think it's much more.
Yes. So it might be an easy transition for you. But just to give you some perspective on the type of city and the noise that you may hear.
Yeah, I think the quietest area that I've stayed in was Rio Negro. It's very quiet out there. So Rio Negro is another part of, it's another area. It's where the airport is, the international airport is for Medellín. So if you are out in that area,
it's nice,
very nice, very quiet, but it's also a lot of farms out there. It's
a lot more of greenery,
It's spacious. And so it's going to be more peaceful out there. And if that's the vibe you're looking for, feel free. It's also great out there as well. I don't know a lot of families. There are some families out there, but I don't know a lot of expat families that are there, but there are some that we do know about. So, but yeah, that kind of gives you some information about 5 different neighborhoods, the most popular neighborhoods that people are moving to when they come to Medellin, especially families. And we are strictly kind of talking from the family aspect, even though some of this does apply to single people, but our focus is on families and thinking from that perspective of, okay, what do we need for our children? How are they going to be? How is daily life going to be? If I run out of butter or milk or whatever, can I run really quick and go grab that? If I run out of fruit, can I get that really, really quick and like just walk up the street? Those are conveniences that you really need when you have a family.
Yes. And so I want to just elaborate a little bit on that. So in terms of accessibility, there is from my home where I live, the school that my children go to is a 3-minute walk away. So I'm there and back in 3 minutes. The nearest grocery store is on my same street, and I can go. I went the other day and I calculated myself. I had to pick up 3 items from the store, from my front door to going to the store, finding my items, standing in line, and coming back to my house. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. So the accessibility, there's cafe a minute up the road and up a hill from my house, that if I wanted to get out and co-work, I can. And the food there is delicious. The menus for the day are great because they have menus for the days at the restaurants here. So the accessibility to many things. There's some Mexican restaurants. We in Colombia, but so for those who like the spicier foods, like the Mexican food, sometimes it's a little hard to come by. They are here. You got to find them. But we have like 2 within 3-minute walking distance from our house. So accessibility is also really good in certain pockets of Laureles.
Yes. And just from my standpoint, in my new apartment, I have at least one. I got a market at both ends of my block.
Yep.
Let's just tell you that.
Yep.
So if I need anything, I can go in either direction on this same block and go to a store. And then even across the street on one block, there's another little market.
Yes.
Now these aren't big supermarkets. These are little tiendas that you can just grab what you need out of it, but it's still very, very convenient.
Very convenient.
And if I want something to eat, actually they're building a D1. We just talked about this, a D1, which is like a little convenience, not a convenience store.
It's a grocery
It's
store.
like a grocery store. Think
It's
about
like
Aldi's.
Aldi's.
Yeah. Think about Aldi's if
Aldi's.
you guys have that in your city. It's like an Aldi's, and they have them everywhere. So actually right now, there's one, maybe 2 blocks, like going one direction. They're actually building one on my same block, maybe 1 block over.
Yep.
And so I'm like, that makes it even better because I'm in D1 every week getting something.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are restaurants. If we go 2 blocks over to the main road, there's restaurants, juice bar, like anything I need, paperia, anything I need is here within walking distance. So that again emphasizes our point of convenience and walkability, and why it's important for us having small children and families. Even just for the kids to get out and ride their scooters. Yes, it's not I have to be careful because it's not, the sidewalks aren't great. So we do have to get in the streets, but it's still flat and it's not a lot of traffic where I still feel comfortable letting the kids go out in the street and ride scooters and I'm with them. Yeah. So, is that it for
That's
neighborhoods?
it. We're gonna wrap it up. We talked about Poblado. That's the more touristy area. A lot of liveliness going on. We talked about Laureles. We talked about Envigado. We've talked about Belén, and we've talked about a secret place that a lot of people don't talk about, Sabaneta. So those were our 5 places. And then Kelly gave us a little bonus with Rio Negro, which is out by the airport. And so those are some popular areas that you'll see families moving to here in Medellín. And tell us what you thought. Tell us what you think. If you've ever visited Colombia and Medellín and you've lived places, pop it in the comments and let us know, hey, I've lived in this place, and let us know what you thought about the place. Was your experience similar to what we've mentioned here today, or was it a bit different? So pop it into the comments.
Yeah, we would love to hear from you guys. And if anybody out there who's interested in moving to Medellín, Colombia, don't know how to get started, don't know what you need, we have our 90-day checklist where basically it kind of walks you through 90 days, what you need, paperwork you need to gather, what is needed in order to get here and move and get settled in the next 90 days. So that's a free checklist that we have out there. If you go to the description, go ahead and just click the link and just enter your information, and that checklist will be sent to you. And also, we are working on a relocation guide that has a plethora of information. Yes, an ebook that has a plethora of information in it. So that is going to be coming soon. So if you enter your information for the 90-day checklist, we'll make sure to send you an email whenever that guide, that ebook is ready. Okay. Yes. So we are here every Friday. That is our commitment as of right now. However, we have to be flexible on the time because we are parents and we know how that goes.
Yes.
So we will see you back here next Friday with our new topic. All right. I'll see you guys, and thank you for watching Mamas Beyond the Matrix.